caveat here is you need to make sure the appropriate BSS writers are installed on the machine that you're backing up, but so long as that's in place, you'll be fine. Juan Carlos asks, do you work with any RMMs? I'm not sure what you mean by RMMs. Juan, if you can let me know, I'll be happy to answer. Craig asks, can you back up MS SQL databases without stopping the service? Yes, Craig. James asks, what do we do with the code KDX986? Oh, James, if you call to our partner specialist team on the phone number I listed and just let them know that you're on today's webinar and you'd like to register for the Kindle. And we're out of questions for the moment. Juan says RMM like Kaseya Enable. What does RMM stand for, Juan? I've never heard that expression before. I'm familiar with Kaseya and Enable and Autotask. Again, you could perform that integration and you could put those products together. We have a competitive product with theirs, so we want you to use our Pulse product, which is what we think a far superior product for managing backup. If you want to use Kaseya, you can, but it's not something that we recommend, if that makes sense. And we're out of questions again. My question to everybody in the audience is, was there material in today's presentation that was missing? Were there topics that you would like to hear spoken about? And that's very important feedback for me for future webinars. All right, some more questions here. Jim writes, for Exchange and SQL, you said you use the BSS model. Does that mean the backup agent can back up these without stopping services? VSS, Volume Shadow Copy Services, Jim. And yes, you don't need to stop the services to back up their data files. Scott writes, can one sign up and get all the sales info and branding before starting a subscription? I don't understand, Scott. When you sign up, you get all the branding. We go through a process of delivering your customized software, but I don't really understand. Juan asks, I might have missed this, but do you do BDR in some fashion? Juan, the whole thing is BDR. The whole the solution is a backup and disaster recovery solution. So everything I spoke about today is BDR. Eric writes, most important thing for me to know is the pricing model. What's the entry point to get the 0.41 per gigabyte per month? How much space do you need to buy? Eric, I'm not sure. The reference to 41 cents per gigabyte per month, where did that come from? Was that on one of the slides I showed, or because the answer is this: we have multiple partner programs. Different partner programs change your cost, so it really depends on which partner programs are fit for you, and that's the purpose of calling in and getting an ROI model built. That's the way the partner specialists actually determine which partner program is best for you, where you're going to make your most margin. So talk to the partner specialists about them doing a quick ROI for you, and that'll help you get an assessment of your cost per gig per year. Luca asks, is the branded site hosted on our domain or yours? Both. Well, either or, Luca. Typically, it'll be hosted on your websites, but we've got some custom web package solutions where we can customize pretty much anything you want. But traditionally, we'd give you the software and we'd give you rebranded portals, and then you would host all the marketing material you need on your website. Juan asked the question, how do you compare to Mozy? Well, it depends how you look at it. Juan, generally we've got more features and we're cheaper. So Mozy's a much bigger company than us. So in terms of how we compete with them, our focus is on providing more value for money, generally. But that's really when you're talking about selling direct. When you're talking about partners, we really do dominate Mozy. Mozy's partner program is very, very poor. You'll get very thin margins. You're effectively demoted to a low-level affiliate, it's not a true reseller model. You can't buy in bulk. You're never going to make anything like 50% margin. They've got trivial branding services. They can't customize anything. So if margin's important to you, if customization's important to you, if branding's important to you, Mozy is not a great fit. So SOS focuses on some, Juan writes, that is correct, virtually no money. Yeah, well, so yeah, our feedback, we get a lot of partners who come to us after having been with Mozy, and they come to us mainly because of the margin they can make with us. Scott writes, do you pay for the service before our customers start using T? I think you are missing some words there, Scott. Oh, it, right. Do you pay for the service before our customers start using it? I'm not quite sure I understand, Scott. You become a partner of us and you buy software from us, and then what you do with your customers is on your end, so we don't have visibility into that. So generally, you'll become a subscriber with SOS, and your first bill will be due at the end of the month that you become a partner. Joshua asks, does your software work on Mac, Windows, Mac, and Linux? Josh, two answers. The first answer is natively on Windows and with any environment because it supports network shares, and that's actually really important. Nearly all of our competitors refuse to support network shares, and the reason is because they're charging you per machine. So they do not want you to have the software installed on this computer and then back up drives from 6 other computers, because they actually really want to get money out of you for those other 6 computers. And we hate that approach to the licensing in the industry. So one of the most traditional ways of deploying SOS is to have a backup server in your environment, and it will back up data from all the other machines and do that using MAT network drives or UNC paths. In terms of native software, we've got a native Windows application, and next month we're launching our native Mac application. It's been in beta for some time, but we've got no plans to have a native Linux application. You can back up Linux boxes, of course, over the network, and because we're the only company that supports network backup, this is really a non-issue. All right, some more questions have come in. Jim writes, I've had long file name issues with other backup programs, which is the sum of the path name plus the file name length. Okay, Jim, those must be some long file names. I mean, there's generally an OS limit. For example, NTFS has a 255 character limit for a fully qualified file path name. That is a limit that I think most backup vendors come up against. Are you talking about fully qualified paths longer than 255 characters? Okay, so if it's under that, you'll be fine with us, Jim. All right, David writes, what type of assistance do you give to partners to get their customers? I don't quite understand, David. Are you talking about sales assistance, marketing help, technical support? What type of assistance are you talking about? Yes, that is right. Yes, that is correct. You mean all of the above? Is that what you mean, or I'm confused? Okay, so if you remember in the presentation when I went through the Partner Resource Center, that is all of the marketing support that we provide to partners. And then also, if you recall, I was talking about our partner sales team and how they work with you as your ongoing sales rep to actually help you sell to your customers, so you can have them on your conference calls as a sales engineer or your backup expert. And then the third thing is technical support. Our technical support staff can help your customers as well. So on all 3 vectors, marketing, sales, and support, you can leverage the SOS team to work with you and help your downstream. Juan Carlos asks, so do you provide a cloud VM to restore a down machine to bring up a PC or bring up a client? Juan, if I don't really understand the question. If you can explain more of what you're talking about, or if there's a vendor that you've got in mind, that would be very helpful. If you just mean backing up VMs to the cloud and can you recover a VM back down, yes, of course we can do that. So we do support backing up virtual machine files as well as backing up from within virtual machines. Okay, I'm not familiar with them, Juan. What do they do? If you can explain what they do, I can try and answer. And while Juan's typing that out, Jim's got a question. What kind of reporting does the backup software report back daily that tells us what is happening, particularly the backup failures due to open file issues or permissions issues? Great question, Jim. So there's a couple of different ways to get reports. One is that you can actually set it up to send email backup reports. So you get an email every day with the detail of the backups that's occurred. Secondly, right from within the web portal of the product, you can actually see all of your backup reports right there, so you can get historical information, which is quite powerful. So between the email reports as well as the web-based reports, there's pretty detailed reporting information available for you. Hope that answers the question. And open file issues, by the way, are not that typical because we support open files. Sometimes they can be a bit finicky. Permissions issues is a good one, though. Permissions issues is probably one of the most common types of problems. Okay, we are out of questions again for the moment. Oh no, here's some more. David asks, what's the absolute minimum start package you offer to sign up? David, it varies every month. They have different specials and promotions. So the best people to talk to would be to the partner team. And when you call in for the Kindle, you can ask them that, and they can give you pricing. All right. Well, we're actually a little bit over time. So if there are any other questions on the line or some feedback for me or comments, I'd very much like to hear what you thought of today's webinar. Otherwise, we'll move to wrap it up. I'll be available for another few more minutes to answer questions, though. All right, we don't seem to have any other questions. Well, thanks everybody for your attention and your participation. That's been very useful, and I look forward to talking to you again. And we've a couple of other questions coming in. David asks, oh, I've already answered that. Craig writes, in determining the gigabytes we have to pay for, does it include the sum of all the archival space? No, Craig, it doesn't. It's just the size of the file on this source PC. So you don't have to worry about compression or versions or anything. It's just, if there's a 1 gig file on your PC, that's what it counts. It's a 1 gig count.